This extremely compact yet 100% efficient iron farm can create over 1000 iron ingots per hour despite its seemingly small design. And in this video, we will be diving into how this machine works, its features, how to set it up, as well as covering how you can make this machine for yourself. So without further ado, let's dive in. As we know, iron serves as one of the most important resources to automate within the Create mod. Since I've announced my new Link Series project in the beginning of April, I'm yet to release a farm that utilizes the Link Series system, hence the release of this one, which also serves as one of the first farms players typically try and make when first starting out in their survival playthroughs. Now, I don't have time in this video to break down and explain exactly what Link Series is, so if you want to learn more about it, you can find the link in the top right hand corner of your screen or in the video description. With all that out of the way, let's dive into the machine, starting with its main features. First, it is precision mechanism free, meaning there are no mechanical arms or speed controllers used in this machine. Secondly, it has an overflow prevention system which stops the machine if the main output storage becomes full while automatically burning any excess flint in the machine, preventing lag and saving materials from being wasted. Third is the bulk processing, which allows for multiple stacks of items to be washed at the same time, resulting in a 100% efficiency rating, meaning that the speed at which the crushing wheels can break the cobblestone is the speed that the machine can process the items. Lastly is its design, made to be as compact as possible, following a strict Link Series design rules system, which I require every machine like this one to be no more than 3 blocks wide and 4 blocks tall, while simultaneously forcing the inputs for the machine to be inserted in the front and outputs to always be on the opposite end, just like how Satisfactory automation works. Moving along, let's look at the inputs this machine is going to require to operate, which is going to be 26 stress units times the RPM and 270 cobblestone times the RPM. Now, I didn't include the inputs in this build to allow the player to choose how they want to supply this machine with the adequate resources. However, I'll have links in the video description which will direct you to some builds I've made which will work seamlessly with this one in supplying the inputs required for its operation. Or you can visit the Link Series playlist or library to find even more builds. That is not to say that you can't utilize one of your own builds or someone else's, hence the goal of Link Series is to make all builds compatible with one another, not just my own. Now to understand exactly what is going on in this mess of mechanical components, and break down what is going on in this machine. To make things less confusing, I'll be removing all of the rotational power components from the machine to allow me to better break it down. We will start with the input on the front, which takes in cobblestone from whatever source you've assigned to your network. Next, the cobblestone is dropped into the crushing wheels, turning it into gravel. The gravel is then taken into this andesite funnel, passed through the barrel, and out of the brass funnel on top of the barrel. Once the gravel is washed, it is converted into iron nuggets and flint, both of which end up on this conveyor. The iron nuggets fall through this brass funnel where they are dropped into the basin to be compacted into iron ingots. Once converted into iron ingots, they are inserted into this output barrel. Meanwhile, the flint is sent into this chute, which drops it into this andesite funnel attached to a barrel. What's cool about this is that if the barrel becomes full of items, the flint will be dropped into the lava instead. Meanwhile, if the barrel with iron ingots becomes full, the smart observer located here will send a redstone signal via a redstone link to where the cobblestone is inputted into the crushing wheels, then locking the brass funnel until the iron is taken out of the machine. Now that we've broken down the functions of the machine, as well as everything about it, it's time to dive into the build guide. However, if you wish to download the schematic instead of building it by hand, you can find links in the video description which will direct you to where you can download them. If you're pasting in the schematic, note that there is a setup guide after this build tutorial if you wish to visually see how this machine is set up. With all that being said, let's complete the materials list, which I will leave in the top left hand corner of the screen till the tutorial is over. If you're on an older version of Create and don't have access to the Create post-production features, you can still follow along with this tutorial and just ignore the post-production items. Let's begin with the first layer, where we're going to place 2 vertical gearboxes facing each other in the front like this. In between these 2 vertical gearboxes, we're going to place a shaft. A block in front of this vertical gearbox, we're going to place a sideways gearbox. And then we're going to place a shaft on the front of that sideways gearbox like so. Now get yourself a smart observer and place it on the end of this shaft facing this direction, and a redstone link on the back end of that smart observer. Now come to the front side of the smart observer and place a depot, and then a depot in front of this shaft right here. Now get 3 blocks of your choice and place 2 here and 1 in front of this depot right here. Now get yourself a copycat panel, but this can be any framed block you want, and put it in front of this empty space right here, which is where your lava is going to go. Lastly, for this layer, you want to get yourself a mechanical belt and connect these 2 shafts like this. For the next layer, you're first going to take 2 vertical gearboxes and place it on top of these existing ones facing that direction. That direction. Now get yourself a basin and place it on the top of this smart observer. Now get yourself 3 barrels, place 2 on the back end of this machine, and another one behind this barrel on the right side. Get yourself 3 andesite funnels, place 1 facing this barrel, and 2 others facing these barrels. Now get a block of your choice and place it on the back end of this barrel on the right side of the machine. Then get yourself 2 crushing wheels and place them on the end of these vertical gearboxes. Now for the most complicated layer. First, take yourself a chest or a vault and place it right here on the right side of the machine, then place a packager facing that chest. Now take a vertical gearbox and place on the end of this packager facing that direction, and a encased fan on the end of that vertical gearbox. Moving along, take yourself a brass funnel and place it on the end of this chest facing the crushing wheels. Now grab yourself 2 shafts and place them in the middle of the machine like this. Then get a mechanical belt and connect these 2 shafts. On the end of these 2 shafts, place down a chute. Now grab yourself 2 more brass funnels and place 1 facing that mechanical belt and another one facing away from the mechanical belt, towards the basin. Now grab yourself a cogwheel and place it next to this brass funnel right here, and then come around to the other side of the machine above this barrel and place down a brass funnel on top of it facing upwards. Now get yourself 2 more packagers and place it on the top of these 2 barrels. Now get yourself 2 stock links and make sure they are connected to your grid, and place them on the end of these packagers. Now get yourself a factory gauge and place it on the bottom end of this packager right here. Make sure that it is also connected to your grid. Lastly, get yourself a copycat panel or any framed block and place it on the end of this brass funnel to contain the water that the encased fan is going to use to wash the items. Now get yourself a list filter and filter it to gravel and set it to deny. Then apply that filter to this brass funnel right here in front of the encased fan. Then go around to the other side of the machine and apply iron nuggets to this funnel right here. For the other 2 brass funnels, they don't need any filters. For the last layer, we're first going to place our packaged frog ports, with 1 on top of this packager and 2 more on top of these packagers. Now take yourself a vertical gearbox and place it on top of this vertical gearbox. Then place 2 shafts in front of that. Grab yourself a regular gearbox and place it on the end of that shaft, followed by 2 cogwheels in front of that, and another cogwheel next to the first cogwheel you placed down. Now get yourself a mechanical press and place it on the top of this basin, facing this cogwheel right here. Now get yourself a andesite casing and apply it to all of the cogwheels and the 2 shafts. Once you have done that, get yourself a redstone link and place it on this shaft right here and set it to receive signals. Then take any item of your choice and assign it to the frequencies on this link, and make sure that it's the same frequencies as the link down here. Now then, let's begin with the setup guide. So far, you've either made the machine by hand or have pasted it in via a schematic. Either way, the setup for this build will be the exact same. Let's begin with linking the machine to your network. If you're using an older version of Create and you don't have access to the Create post-production features, just apply your cobblestone input to the front of the machine here, like so. Now then, first connect all of your frog ports to your chain conveyor system. You can name them whatever you want. Next, link your stock links and factory gauges to your network and place them back down on their respective packages. Now go to the front of the machine where your input is and assign the factory gauge/restocker to cobblestone. In this instance, I'll be setting it to maintain 16 stacks, but you can assign it to whatever you want. Now assign the restocker to route the cobblestone to the overhead frog port, which will be named whatever you have assigned it. Now that you've assigned your inputs to the machine and linked everything to your network, it's time to set up the mechanical features. First, waterlog the brass funnel on the other side of the copycat frame in the front of the encased fan. Now place lava on the back side of the machine at the end of the conveyor behind the copycat frame. Lastly, you will need to apply rotational power input anywhere to the machine at any speed, ensuring that everything spins correctly, of course. And just like that, you now have a 100% efficient yet super compact iron farm to better your automation capabilities. As always, if you have any issues with this build, please reach out to me on the Our Creation Discord, and also consider joining the Link Series project to gain access to more builds like this one, both of which you can find more information about in the video's description.